Hey, this is Angie Greaves. I'd love doing this little series. It's called Angie and Friends, and it's not only about the artists and the authors and the, music industry people that I've spoken to. I like talking to real life people as well. And this woman is a real life coach. She is the CEO of Designer Life Coaching. Her name is Neelam Chalana. Neelam, thank you for joining me.
Thank you, Angie. Good to be here.
Good to have you on board. And I know that you have been doing life coaching for a while. How long have you been in the coaching business?
Officially about 18 years. Unofficially, before I realized I was coaching, probably about 30 years.
And what was the decision to become a life coach? What was that light bulb moment for you?
That's a great question, actually, because I didn't set coaching as a career goal for myself. Coaching found me, if I'm honest. I'd always been really good at creating motivated, high-performing individuals when I was leading teams and departments. And I had a huge interest in human potential just because of the books I was reading. I was reading a lot of personal development books from as young as 15. And I had a knack for coaching. My style as a leader was a very coaching and transformative, visionary style, but I didn't know that's what it was. And I was attending a weekend church event from a previous church that I was attending, hosted by Bishop Wayne Malcolm. And on the last day of this weekend retreat, he was talking about coaching, and he described a coach. And I remember sitting there thinking, oh my gosh, he's just described me. And it was actually quite a defining moment for me, because so much clarity was coming within moments. And actually, if I'm honest, it was quite emotional for me, because I remember thinking, oh my gosh, my heart's really racing, and he's just nailed who I am, or what I do. And so that was in 2003. And then that same year, I signed up to do a diploma in coaching. And then 2004, I set up Designer Life Coaching, a boutique coaching company.
Why call it Designer Life Coaching?
Good question, because there's a bit of a philosophy behind that.
Okay.
So I love the idea of us as humans being able to design our life and not live by default. I got a lot of these kind of concepts from Jim Rohn and actually from Wayne Malcolm, which resonated with me. And whilst I believe in fate and things, happen for a reason, I also believe that we have the power to create and design our day, our week, our lives. And so I try to bring that philosophy into my coaching when I'm coaching with my clients, that they have the power. If they've got the tools and they've got the space, they can start creating and designing their life. The other part is my father, actually. He used to say to me and my siblings, do not conform. And this was always repeated, do not conform, do not conform. And he always wanted us to think beyond what could be. What is it that we want? What is it that we don't want? And not to live with conformity, and don't even live with pretentiously either. So a lot of that kind of thinkings come from what he shared. And also, I have to say, I love designer things. I love a bit of luxury.
Go on. I was just going to pick up on something, but anyway, no, go on. Yeah.
And I love kind of bespoke, one of a kind. And that's what we are. So one of what I love about when I coach my clients is they're able to create something that's just for them, on their life on their terms.
When you were talking about designing your life, we've got the tools to design our lives. I was thinking about a handbag maker who will have the tools to design a handbag, a luxury handbag. But isn't it amazing that we put the words design and we put the words luxury on hold for ourselves, but we'll go out and buy an object that is designer and actually put more emotion into that object as opposed to ourselves.
Yes, you've actually grasp what I'm saying, exactly that. One of the things that we often do is we'll go all out designing even our homes, get architects in, the interior design, but we just don't take the time to look at our own lives. And
and I suppose that's just the default thing we do, isn't it? Now, one of the things I did want to ask you, and I'm being very upfront, I'm reading this here because there was lots of things I wanted to ask you. In terms of your clients, who do you work with? And what are the changes and maybe some of the results that you've personally seen in some of your clients?
So in 18 years, I've worked with a diverse client group from all walks of life, from high net worths to professionals, unemployed, self-employed, men, women, from as young as 16 to 63. In the last couple of years, I've transitioned to focus mainly on women. And I do actually have a few male clients as well who we just had a connection with. It was through referrals. So it's not that I will never work with a male client, but generally as a business, that's who I'm kind of focusing on at the moment. My goal really is I want to empower women to really understand who they are and leave their own unique mark in this world, and to live it in a way that's authentic. And I know authentic sometimes feels like an overused word, but actually it's about being real, and it's about just showing up as you are, but the best version of yourself. If you've worked with me, then you're going to show up as the best version of yourself. So in terms of results, I mean, coaching is very measurable. It's measurable and it's result orientated. So it's all about helping you to achieve the objective, the goal that you want. Now, as a coach, I'm not there to tell a person how to live their life, but through the coaching process, which is actually a conversation, kind of like what you and I are having, except it's directed towards the individual and their goal. We will work on multiple goals. Now, a few clients, so just to give you an example, you asked about changes and results. So I had a client who came to me, I think it was October of one year, and one of her objectives was to become a director in her company. By June the following year, she had the offer. So had she not had me, she may have still got it. She had so much potential. She was an amazing young lady, but it might have taken a year or 2 years. Right. So what coaching does, it can accelerate things, goals. So that's one example. I had another client who came to me, and I mean, obviously I'm not going to break confidentiality, but just keeping it very generic. She was questioning her marriage, and I'm not a marriage coach or counselor. Yeah. But when we did the consultation, it became really apparent that actually a lot of it was just within herself. Yeah. So we worked together on helping her to become better, change some mindsets, some habits, helped her in getting her business off the ground, and just how she is as a wife, and that relationship. She is in such a different place now. Her marriage, I mean, she's still married and much happier and much more fulfilled. So is the husband, and they have 2 children. And prior to that, they didn't have children. She questioned everything about that, and they've got 2 children. So I'm not coaching her husband, but to help a person become the best version of themselves. They can become the best wife, the best business partner, the best parent. So that's just a couple of, I mean, there's another lady which I have to share. Sorry, I hope it's okay with time. But she came to me, she's a single parent, Asian lady, and she was divorced. Her daughter was at the time, I think, about 5 years old. Now, in her community, to be divorced, she was really labelled in a negative way. And she came to me, and we worked on her confidence. We worked on her staying in the same role, but earning more money. And just by working on her confidence and staying in the kind of title that she's in, but changing her role, she got a 10 grand increase.
Wow.
So she changed from the company, she moved to another company where she got a 10 grand increase, boosted her confidence. And her other goal was that she wanted to buy her own property. And she came to me at the beginning of this particular year. So it was around January time. By October, she messaged me, and I actually feel emotional. She said to me, Neelam, I've got the key to my house. So, and she was a single parent.
So it's interesting that you ended on somebody buying their property, because I was going to ask you, does coaching give you the ability to find the keys that are already within you to unlock blockages?
Absolutely. Absolutely. I was, and speaking of property, that's not just the only time I worked with, this was actually in an organization. I was working with a young guy. He wasn't even 20 years old, and I was helping him to become a high performer, save his money. And when I finished working with that company, he messaged me the following year, and we'd set a timeline of, because we were being realistic of when he can start building up that money. And by the following year in September, honestly, he messaged me and he said, Neelam, I've got the keys to my flat.
Amazing.
In London. And this was, so whilst one of the goals was to get the property and get the keys, it was everything that goes with it. It's how do you earn the money? How do you save the money? How do you believe that you can do it? And one of the things that I remember about him was that when we finished our sessions, he ran with the actions. He never dilly-dallied. He did it.
Yeah.
And so, but I think before he hit 21, or maybe it was actually at the age of 20, he got the keys to his first property. Amazing.